Have y'all seen this story? This Hispanic lady kicks out black women out of her store for being black. This happened at Albuquerque, New Mexico at an H&M. Simply because they're black, she wanted them gone.
I'll go ahead and I'll take that. If you guys could go ahead and please leave the store, we'd really appreciate
Wait, so why do you have to leave the store?
Because we're just refusing service. We don't have to have a reason.
Out of the store, we're just shopping here. What is your reason?
To be quite completely honest with you, I don't have to have a reason. I'm just letting you guys know.
So, are you gonna kick everyone else out of the store too?
Funny.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about a video that is going super duper viral. Okay, the race hustlers and black liberals are upset with this one, right? They're boohoo, why didn't cry racism? What else is new? Because you have two black girls, two sisters, that are claiming they were profiled and kicked out of H&M after being accused of stealing. And the sisters are claiming innocence, that they didn't steal and that they were kicked out because they're black, right? They were racially profiled. And I want to react to it. So without further ado, let's get into this.
Can we talk to them?
You guys are more welcome to, but we just sit right here. They were talking, man.
We're gonna go ahead and just refuse service. There's no reason. That's what we're gonna go ahead and do today. I'll go ahead and I'll take that. If you guys could go ahead and please leave the store, we'd really appreciate
Wait, so why do you have to leave the store?
Because we're just refusing service. We don't have to have a reason.
I think you should have a reason for kicking us out of the store. We're just shopping here. What is your reason?
To be quite completely honest with you, I don't have to have a reason. I'm just letting you guys know.
So, are you gonna kick everyone else out of the store too?
Funny.
If we have the right to refuse service to anybody, so I'm having the right to refuse service to you guys. I don't have to have a reason. So that is my reason. So I'm just asking you guys to please leave the store today.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's really happening.
So you've seen us steal before? Is that what you're saying?
Nobody said that at all.
That's what he said. That we're repeat shoplifters here.
We've seen you in here before. I didn't.
I have not been here in
so
so
I
long.
don't
I don't even know the last time.
To be honest with you guys, we've seen you in here plenty of times before.
Us too.
Yeah, we've seen people.
Do you have
here.
like a picture? Because
Show
it's
us.
not us.
I don't need to show you guys. I'm refusing service to you guys today. I've asked you guys to
Okay.
please leave the store. I don't need you guys to get violent or anything like that.
Violent?
You guys are.
Let's go. Let's go.
If you guys hold on. If you guys want, I'll talk to you guys outside.
How are we getting violent?
Violent. It's crazy. I can't believe this is actually happening.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. Apparently, this happened out in New Mexico. It happened back in February, and now, for whatever reason, the accuser here, the sisters are bringing this story to the light, okay? And before I tell you guys my opinion on this, I want to go ahead and play the reactions from the woke revolutionaries on the internet, who obviously are upset about what they believe is shut and closed racism, hate, and bigotry against two innocent black girls. Take a look.
Those two girls that got kicked out of H&M for no good reason, because that's what the manager said. No reason. Their parents raised them well. Because the moment that lady said, I don't need you getting violent, that's when violence would have ensued. My emotions would have came over. Now, what they should have did when they walked out was knock down all those raggedy clothes that H&M sells. And that would have been fine. But you know what? They were raised well. And I like how they handled it. But also, those girls never stole before. And you know how I know? I worked in retail for 10 years. If they stole before, the lead security would have came out, apprehended them, and showed them recordings and pictures of them stealing. But guess what? They didn't have that because they never stole. So why in 2025 would you feel comfortable enough to throw some girls out of your store that were never a threat, a harm, anything like that? That's crazy. And then I bet she didn't think she was going to go viral, dummy. But I can't wait till they get their lawsuit money. It's about to be real up for them. Whole life is about to be set. Not gonna hold you.
What's up with you ignorant bitches fucking racially profiling hoes in stores? Because why did I just repost a video of an H&M worker kicking out two black girls after accusing them of being in there before and stealing? Mind you, they both said they had not been there in a long period of time. They both asked for pictures, both asked for evidence. And the whole time, girls like, oh, I'm just refusing service. I'm just refusing service. I'm just refusing service. Not giving no explanation on why for real. Has a whole ass police officer standing there and then tries to tells the police officer, I don't want them trying to get violent. Mind you, these girls ain't even violent, ain't raising their voices like that for real. They're just genuinely fucking confused. as they should be. The girl talking, she got a whole essential hoodie on, and she has her braids done. What makes you think that she about to go up in H&M, baby, and steal? Having 2 pieces of merchandise in their hands. And then when old girl's like, you accused us of being in here before and stealing before, she's like, no, I didn't say that. That's quite literally what she said. She was like, we've seen you in here multiple times before. Da, 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 da. Sound like H&M want to be just like Target.
Oh, Bookie Butt, you may not have a job at the end of this video. Imagine losing your job in this recession. Okay, it doesn't even matter because H&M replied. Now, H&M posted this comment and pinned it like that was an official statement, but whatever. They say, we take the incident from February of last year at our Albuquerque store very seriously. Following the incident, we immediately acted according to our strict guidelines. The employee in question is no longer employed by H&M, and we extend a sincere apology to the affected customers. Now, I'm not entirely sure if this incident is recent or from last year, but according to H&M, this happened February of last year. But even in the caption, the girls say, me and my sister getting profiled and kicked out of H&M and accused of stealing before. Now, the 2 young ladies also posted this and said, thank you guys so much for all your support. We want to answer everyone's questions, but at this time, our attorney advised us to not comment. Now, I don't know when this actually occurred because H&M's statement is kind of confusing. But regardless of that, it doesn't matter what timeline we on. I'm glad they fired that employee.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. Apparently H&M instantly bent the knee to the mob and fired this employee. Because honestly, guys, I'm going to keep it all the way 100 with you. While I have no idea if these sisters actually steal things, right? And I'm not accusing them of stealing anything. I'm just saying, if these girls were not stealing, okay, and this lady is wrong in her accusation, which I don't know, right? I don't know if she's wrong. But if she is wrong, the reason why this woman thought that these girls were stealing is because people that look like them often steal from the store, right? That's just the reality of the situation, okay? That's the reality. And that's why, you know, to me, it's kind of funny how this employee is getting all the backlash. This manager is getting all the backlash. But ultimately, this manager really is just trying to save her store from going out of business, right? Because a lot of these stores are going out of business because you have people who fit a certain profile that are disproportionately stealing from these stores, right? And again, I'm not saying that it's right for this woman to racially profile. I don't know if she did or not, right? I'm just saying that there is no reason to have the girls kicked out unless she had a good suspicion, a reasonable suspicion that, hey, they might be stealing, that they have stole things before. Again, I'm not saying they were, right? I'm just saying that if this woman is a manager, I can kind of understand what happens when you see a certain demographic of people that come into the store stealing, right, on a day-to-day basis, okay, and that is causing your performance to lag, right, the numbers for your store to drop, and your job may be on the line, your store staying open may be on the line. Yeah, I can see how some business owners are getting to the point where they're saying, you know what, I'm not taking any chances whatsoever. If you look like you might be stealing, we're just gonna kick you out, right? I'm just saying, I don't think it's right, okay, per se, but I'm just saying I kind of understand how some people are probably getting to the point nowadays in 2025 when, again, we've seen stores be robbed out of business where they're just not taking chances anymore, right? And if you're upset about that, if you are mad about that, then you should stop voting for Democrats, right? Stop voting for Democrats if you're mad, okay? Because Democrats are the people that advocate to be soft on crime, right? That try to justify bad behaviors that lead to stereotypes, right? You know, the best way to stop stereotypes is to stop acting in ways that fit the stereotype, right? That's the best way to stop it. If you want the stereotype of black people stealing to go away, then we should not condone this type of behavior, right? We shouldn't give it a slap on the wrist. We should be advocating to have people that steal, that get caught stealing, to be locked up, right? To have harsh punishment. Therefore, we're locking up all the people who are participating in stealing, and we are disincentivizing other folks who are thinking about stealing from stealing. Therefore, you reduce the amount of black people stealing, and the stereotype goes away, right? Again, this is not hard, but again, we can't even, you know, get to the point of just condemning the behavior, right? Because the woke activists have made excuses, right? Oh, well, they're just hungry, right? They're hungry. This is why they have to steal. Who cares? It's just a corporation, right? Who cares? That is the attitude. This has not been treated as a serious thing, especially from a cultural standpoint where we condemn this type of behavior and we advocate for laws to prevent this type of behavior, right? So again, if that's the world that we live in, where you have this stuff happening in which a certain demographic disproportionately is stealing from these stores, yes, you're going to have stereotypes. You're going to have to live with the stereotypes, right? And as a black person, I don't like it, right? I don't like it because it negatively affects me. But I try to, right, not steal. I try to not fit the stereotypes. Therefore, I'm doing my part, right? I am doing my part, and I am condemning the bad behavior that contributes to the stereotypes, right? So I'm not saying it's right that these young girls got kicked out of the store, as far as I know, right? In regards to what I know about the story and whether or not they were stealing, or if there was racial profiling or, you know, racism or whatever. I don't know. Honestly, I can't say either way. But, you know, H&M fired the employee. I'm just saying that, again, if people are upset that people think this way, right, or have these types of thoughts or things like this happen, then, again, it's best to address the stereotype, right? And that way you don't have to worry about this stuff happening. But, you know, a lot of people want this stuff to happen because then they can turn around and cry victimhood and boo-hoo whine and cry. You know, me personally, if a store kicks me out for whatever reason, even if I do get profiled, that's okay. I'm not going to think twice about it. I'm just going to dip, right? They say, hey, we don't want to do business with you. Okay, cool. I'm going to go do business somewhere else, right? This has happened to me before, right? In fact, probably a month ago, I went out to a restaurant. It was like late on a Sunday, okay? But the restaurant was open. I walk in. The host is not at the front desk, so I'm waiting for a few minutes at the front desk for the host. The host finally comes, and she says, I'm sorry, the kitchen closes at 10:45, okay? Even though I got there at 10:40, and I also checked my phone, and it was 10:44 after she told me that the kitchen closed at 10:45. I showed her the time. I said, it's not 10:45. Now, again, it was a minute beforehand. So, you know, it is what it is. Regardless, I was there before 11 o'clock. Okay. They advertised that they closed at 11. I didn't argue with her. Okay. I did not, you know, get mad or anything like that. I just turned around and I went next door, and their competitor got my business, right? I just ate at the competitor's restaurant next door. That's it. I didn't sit around and think, oh, did they kick me out because I'm black? Because I'm a black man, they kicked me out. Oh my God, my life is so terrible. Let me get on the internet and cry about it, right? No. I said, okay, the most likely reason why I was refused service is because they closed up the kitchen early, which I don't think is a good business practice, by the way, because if you advertise your restaurant has been open until 11, then you should be open till 11. Now, if somebody comes in after 11 and you say, hey, our kitchen's closed, then, you know, hey, it is what it is. At least you advertise that no service after 11 o'clock. But if you say you're open, then you should actually stay open. Now, I know why they close early. I know why they close the kitchen 15 minutes early before close, because the employees want to go home, right? That's why, okay? And they want to save some money. But again, I just don't think it's a good business practice to do that, in my opinion, personally, okay? You might as well just say that you're closed at 10:45 or 10:30 or whatever the kitchen closes. Just do that instead of advertising that you're going to be open later than you're actually open. Okay. So, I don't know why that happened. I don't care why it happened. All I know is that I just went and I did business with somebody else. I don't know why is it that these people get so upset when people tell you, hey, we don't want to do business, right? I don't get it, right? Why do you want to be around people that don't like you, right? I really don't understand it. I really don't. If somebody doesn't want to do business, all right, I'm going to walk away and go do business with somebody else. I'm not going to boo-hoo, whine, and cry like I'm a victim. So, again, in this situation, I'm not saying it's right what happened to those girls. I don't know. But I can understand, considering what we see happening in society, why she may have thought these girls were stealing. But, you know, ultimately at the end of the day, H&M fired the lady, and it is what it is, right? I just think that if people are really upset by profiling and stereotyping, then they should do something about the stereotype, and you have a lot less of it. But let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.